There it is.
Welcome to the July 7th, 2025 regular city council meeting is now called to order. All right. For the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic that stands one nation, indivisible. Play ball.
Shelley, I do roll call.
Becky Curtis,
Here.
Gina Reed Hitler. Here. John Breckenridge.
Here.
John Feiger.
Here.
Mark Carr.
Here.
Right, that takes us to our first public participation. If anybody wants to talk to the city council, you have 5 minutes. Please come to the podium and write your name and address down, and you have 5 minutes. All right. If there's none, that moves us on to the consent agenda. Are there any requests to move any items off the consent agenda to be on the regular agenda for discussion? Sally, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Item A, motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2025 regular session. Item B, motion to approve the minutes of the June 30th, 2025 work session.
I will entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Next, that makes us to the appointment. The Cameron Park Board is the first one. We decided that we would do it one person at a time. We'll get to that. Right, so we're going to do one at a time. I, Mayor Becky Curtis, hereby appoint Julie Osmith to the Cameron Park Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
I'm not happy with any of the choices that we have. They voted against the heat. They went after a taxpayer, and it cost us what, 25,000. So I would want to see more out of them before I vote for them. And that goes for each of them. Each one of these folks voted to sue the city of Cameron, and I don't appreciate that. I don't think they should be on anything until they can tell us that they made a mistake and apologize to the people.
Is this up for discussion? Well, we haven't discussion on.
There should be discussion on.
All right, so. And I thought Julie had quit, so, and then I found out later that she had not. So.
Okay, so do we say the person's name and have discussion?
Mm-hmm.
All right, next is Robbie Peterson. Discussion. I, Mayor Becky Curtis, hereby appoint Robbie Peterson to the Cameron Park Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No. I'm gonna say again.
I, Mayor Becky Curtis, hereby appoint, excuse me, Chris Wilkerson. Does anybody want to have a discussion about that? No? I, Mayor Becky Curtis, hereby appoint Chris Wilkerson to the Cameron Park Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay.
All right. That takes us to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there any discussion with that? I'm Mayor Becky Curtis, hereby appoint George Pratt to the Cameron Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Passes Five in favor, zero opposed. And then, of course, then we have the Cameron Housing Authority, which is up for review.
Yeah, that one's review only. We do have the terms of Debbie Horn and Veronica Dial expiring on the board. Both have submitted their applications to be reappointed. The Housing Authority met on June 18th and recommend reappointing both applicants. So with no objections, that will be on the next agenda for.
Okay. All right, that takes us to our administrative report.
Mayor, council, thank you. 112 East Third Street. Last week, city staff conducted a pre-bid on-site meeting and a walk around of the building, with contractors. We will be opening bids tomorrow at 10 a.m. I think Lance has a little follow-up on that.
Yeah, we had 4 demolition contractors show up at the pre-bid. And so I've got 2 that are for sure are providing a bid. There was some news out there that we had already received 4 bids. We have not. Bids aren't due till tomorrow. And so once we get those, then we'll be able to move forward. We've got to send it to EPA and get their approval on the bid. We got to send it to DNR and get their approval on the bid. And we got to get it approved by MOCAN as well. And so the reason we have to get all 3 of those to approve the bid is because they're providing the budget, which is a good thing.
What kind of time frame are we talking then once you get those, like getting it approved by those 3 organizations?
Then all we got to do is come through here and sign the contract and give it to them, and then they've got to provide, whoever the winning contractor is, has to provide notification to DNR at 2 weeks.
Can you be working on approval, all 3 of those at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you
what the
don't
plan
have
is.
to do it sequential.
No. And I don't foresee any problems, but that doesn't mean that there won't.
And how long do you think that'll take?
I think that by mid-September, those will be down.
Okay.
That's my goal. And that was going through and making sure DNR has been notified. DNR and EPA are both going to supposedly send people up to Washington.
Have nothing to do.
Right. So that's the plan. By September 15th, I'm hoping to be completely done. And it's seated, a nice flat flow, flat as neat drain.
Who's gonna own it?
Well, Mr. Williams will still own it. We'll just have a lien against it for everything we got in. And we're also going to put the cost of the barricades on that lien as well.
Well, we don't wanna take care of it. We don't wanna own it.
Yeah.
You'll do that.
Probably not. It'll probably come up to tax sale in 3 years.
Well, it seems like such a long time to finalize something as simple as this.
Yep. Sadly, it takes that much time. That's what it does.
Where was the Chestnut Arms as well?
So by the time it all gets said and done, we'll put a lien against the property for all the costs associated with that. And then whoever, if he ever sells it, or when it does go up for sale on the courthouse lawn, then that's going to be on it. That's it.
On City Hall, we talked about this at the previous meeting. We met with PST and the turnkey contractors. We were on site with them about the plaza area out front on the east side of City Hall. They showed us the plans. There's a concrete wall under the decorative block instead of cinder block like the blueprint shows. They talked to us about removing a couple of sections during phase 1 instead of 2 so they can get the dumpster up to the front of the building. No additional cost. Tad has that information, and we do have possession of the preliminary drawings for City Hall. The Third Street buildings, the city has received a signed demolition agreement between Gina Reed and Red Rock for the demolition of the 4 buildings in the 200 block of Third Street. 4th of July events. We had several events in town and went really well. I want to thank the fire department for Saturday night.
And Friday night.
And Friday night. They put a lot of work into helping these folks get some festivities kicked off. So thanks, Mike. Thank you, crew. McCorkle Park, we talked about this. There was a large chunk of sidewalk missing. We got that fixed before anything, took place for the 4th of July weekend. And, Ira's gonna be having somebody get that water line that sends over up there out of the ground where the water fountain was at.
Any questions for? That takes us to our update on Bainbridge Road. Oh, we just did that.
We pretty much covered that.
Well, we have questions.
Oh, you have questions?
Yep. Okay. So on the Third Street building, the four, where are we at on that? Because the agreement was July 1st, they were going to do the asbestos eradication. And I haven't seen that happen.
Can I stop?
Hello?
We need to recuse.
Given that right now, some of these questions can only be answered via this, and there's no monetary benefit that could arise from any discussion that's going on tonight, I think it's appropriate that Councilmember Rita would stay on.
Okay. So do we have an answer about,
Oh,
has that started?
that he would have, except that he has a project in another town that's going to last at least till July 15th.
And is that
Yes,
is that the same
that's
person?
Red Rock.
Red Rock, okay. So
That's
he's
very-
going to do that, and he's licensed to do that,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yes.
certified to do that.
Mhm.
And I was
He's very
there for the
experienced.
conversation too.
Okay,
Yeah, he's very experienced.
and as I understand, then that there is a signed contract for the demolition and all that.
Demolition agreement, yeah.
Okay, and then the last question is, who's paying for it? Is the city paying for it, or is,
Not a nickel. I
okay?
am.
Well, I admire you for sticking with it and doing that. That's a very honorable,
Thank you.
responsible thing to do.
That's what I felt like my responsibility was when other people were not able to.
And I'd love to see food trucks and beer carts, and I don't even drink beer. So,
My ultimate goal is we are not spending a liquid taxpayer money on this unless it's an
Yeah.
absolute emergency.
thank you. That's all I have.
And that is my goal as well. I believe in private enterprise.
Did they get in there and do the asbestos on those?
The testing, oh, yeah.
Okay,
And I
that's
paid for that.
July 1st, right? Is that the one that?
Oh, I've already paid for that a long time
Not only
ago.
did they, so they've
He
already,
has not been able to start that project yet because he has another project.
oh, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was two different individuals. My bad. Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Now, I don't have to go through, I mean, DNR and EPA have already been involved and are done
Okay.
with my project.
Unlike what we're
Unlike-
doing.
That's, well, yeah, that's kind of where.
That one's not getting funded with EPA and DNR money. Or-
Okay.
That's why there's a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of hoops.
And I paid it in cash so far. I inherited the money and it's the way I decided to spend it. I didn't get a lot of money, so don't be sticking your hand out, John.
I didn't never. Unless it's an emergency.
Okay.
Nope.
Don't play on my tender feelings.
That's all I know.
All right, so that takes us to unfinished business. Shelley, the second and final reading of Bill 2025-20.
Bill 2025-20, an ordinance approving a plan for an industrial development project for Moda Group LLC, authorizing the city of Cameron, Missouri to issue its taxable industrial development revenue bonds, Moda Group LLC, DA Travel Center Project, Series 2025, in a principal amount not to exceed $20,500,000 to finance the cost of such project and authorizing and approving certain documents and other actions in connection with the issuance of the bond.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-20 on a second and final reading by roll call.
So moved.
Discussion.
Yes, Mayor, members of council, as you may recall, this item was moved from the first meeting in June to this meeting to ensure proper notification of the taxing jurisdictions regarding their ability to provide comment to the city council about this plan. At that meeting, there was discussion and a memorandum provided that gave kind of the general framework of the Chapter 100 documents in front of you. Essentially, those were that this tax abatement provided by Chapter 100 would be 90% for years 1 through 15, 75% for years 16 through 20, and 50% for years 21 through 25, with an estimated value of the property tax abatement to be about $2.7 million. During that period, due to the agreed pilot that the developer will pay, the taxing jurisdictions will receive just a shade under $800,000 during that time period. Due to the current use of the property during the entirety of the 25 years that the bonds are out, if the project were not to be constructed, the taxing jurisdictions will receive $18,000. So the taxing jurisdictions will essentially be made whole, but for the project by year 3. And at this time, the city council would like to invite any taxing jurisdictions to provide comment on the plan. It would be appropriate. And it should be noted at the previous meeting, Patrick Clark, the presiding commissioner of Clinton County, is here in the house.
Any questions? Any other discussion? No.
Gina Reed Hibler.
Yes.
John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Feiger.
Yes.
Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes. All right, that takes us to Bill 2025-21, Shelley.
Bill 2025-21, an ordinance extending the duration and term of the US 36 and Bob F. Griffin Road Community Improvement District.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-21 on first reading.
Second.
Discussion.
Mayor and members of council, the US 36 and Bob F. Griffin Road Community Improvement District was established by the city in 2018 to fund certain improvements to that intersection, specifically for safety and to allow better ingress and egress of traffic. While the CID has been going through the 50/50 MoDOT program, it has come to the attention of city staff that the bond market will not look favorably upon the offering from the CID with the city, regardless of who's the issuer, due to the fact that the CID's term would run during the life of the bonds. So due to that, and pursuant to the petition in the CID Act, the city staff has already gone to the board of directors, which is made up of the property owners and business owners within the district, to seek their approval to extend the life of the district for an additional 10 years, kind of cover that period. They approved that, and so now we're coming to the city council to request that same extension. Once the bonds are paid off, the board of directors could seek to terminate the district. This is just a maximum extension that would take the life of the district where it would end now in 2038 to 2048. But given the current collection of CID revenues and the potential for new development within the area, it is likely that these bonds will be paid off most likely at their earliest call date. And that is been somewhat stated as the intention of the board of directors of the CID. If you have any other questions. Right.
Questions? All those in favor of passing Bill 2025-21, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to our first resolution. Shelley.
Resolution 2025-32, a resolution authorizing the city of Cameron, Missouri to request a procurement waiver from the Missouri Department of Economic Development for the Harris Street Improvement Project.
I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-32.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
I believe while I was going out last week, Mo can bring this to your ditches, Joey.
Yes, I was contacting the contractor and NOCAN about, we had on the agenda schedule that we were gonna award the bid and through the contract with CC Excavating tonight for the Harris Street project, but we had done 2 bidding events. Each bidding event only had 1 bidder. And because it is a CDBG project and there were a low amount of bids, they want the procurement waiver saying that we're requesting that we go with the last bid. If we had probably 3 or more bids, we wouldn't have to do that. But this is the next step in the process so that we can get the contract and award onto the next bid.
All those in favor of passing the resolution 2025-32, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to resolution 2025-33. Shelley.
Resolution 2025-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Cameron, Missouri, updating the comprehensive fee schedule for regulating and assessing fees and service charges, water fees.
I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-33.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, so this is, one of the things that's never really been on the comprehensive fee schedule before. Capping fees for water, for new services, as well as rentals for hydrant meters. We went through and updated the pricing on these here a while back, like 2015, last time we updated. Material costs has gone up significantly. So basically bringing that date to the on fee schedule, so it's black and white. Cost.
It hasn't been on the fee schedule, and people come in and they'll ask what these amounts are, and we scramble. Because it's not in the code, and, you know, it's going back and looking at the invoices to see what we paid for stuff, and it just makes it a lot more transparent for staff and the public if you get a competition. You know where to find it.
Makes sense. Well, I have a question before we go too far on it. I noticed the numbers were kind of unique, like $680 and 82 cents and
Right.
$965.
They're based on what the current costs are for materials right now. We don't have markup.
Well, I'm just wondering, again, just for ease, should we just round up and make it 700 and 1,000 and 3,800? You know, I mean, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of trying to keep track of it. It'd be a lot easier if someone's coming in and asking.
Right.
So Shelley doesn't have to look and go, 680,
Need those
880.
16 cents.
Yeah, because you know that's, they'll end up
Right,
missing something.
And that's totally possible, but we just put what the current prices
Sure.
are on it. Put it out there so that
What do you
To update the price in the future, what would you have to do? Because things
Bring it
change.
back to another.
bring back.
Still have to
another
do it again.
request, yeah.
So I guess we could approve it now, and then when we come back next time.
Ideally, these are the right things we want to update.
Right, it'd be a good idea to schedule that, okay. So we'll remember that next time. Take it around number to, otherwise we'd have to vote on it.
Well, would we, or can we just go ahead and,
There could be a motion to amend resolution 2025-33,
right,
to round the prices that are to be amended to the nearest.
I was saying for the 100, but whatever, I
To the
don't
nearest
care.
100.
I'm just trying to make it easier, because you're gonna start throwing in these pennies, And Shelley's gonna have to try to remember.
Change in there.
I just try to make it easy for them.
I like that idea.
You want to round it to the nearest 10, the nearest 100.
What would you like?
If we just rounded it to the nearest 100, you're probably not gonna have to change it every year, or potentially, we'll have to change it every
Round
year.
up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll put that in there.
Yeah, somebody could make the motion.
I'll make the motion that he just stated.
We both made the motion, so I'll second his motion.
There we go.
So we first, vote on the motion. All those in favor of amending the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes, so we're going to amend it. And now we're also going to vote on the actual resolution.
Voting on resolution 2025-33.
All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-33 as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes, 5-0 opposed. That takes us to resolution 2025-34, Shelley.
Resolution 2025-34, a resolution for the city of Cameron, Missouri to update the job description for the accounts payable administrative assistant position and regrade the position in the city of Cameron salary matrix.
I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-34.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We had a personnel committee meeting where we discussed this change. The job description and the job duties have changed and morphed a little bit over the years. Amy used to be the administrative assistant several years ago, and then she became the HR manager. At that time, the tag for the administrative assistant got put onto one of the clerk jobs. Originally, that administrative assistant position had a lot of duties that Amy was actually still doing as the HR manager. So those duties didn't necessarily transfer with the job to some of the clerical duties. Over time, and especially now that we are legacy planning, there are a lot more duties that are going to be required of this position in a position that is I've attached a copy of that job description with the additional duties that they will be taking on and learning over the next 2 years. And to compensate that job, we'd like to regrade it up to a salary grade 6 and make the changes to the job as indicated. I would also, I'm suggesting that this doesn't, I'm not married to this, but administrative and accounts payable is the job. I would like to make it executive.
Why do you like the terminology change? Yeah.
I think administrative assistant doesn't have absolutely represent some of the tasks and responsibilities that go along with that. There's a lot of sensitive issues come up. Just we need to put it's kind of a specialized, specialized job. They're going to be back in EF and they're going to be back in the payroll and the city budget. When it comes time for the city to choose the next city clerk, they will be, free to go out and do that externally or internally, but in that meantime, the person will be able to.
For 9 to 10 grand free. 23% ballpark, 23% increase on the max side.
Yeah. And I will say that is what the administrative assistant job was rated at. It was actually rated at, I believe, 5. That was in the old. When the administrative assistant was doing more work, it was rated higher.
We're restricted where it starts and conclude where it starts.
Six is the grade.
So it's going from a 3 now to a 6.
And I will also say that the clerk, the other clerks that were moved to the utility schedule, their grades are at the sixth level. They're in that, they are in that range as well.
I'm seeing street foreman is the same grade as the 6. 7, you got an airport manager, apprentice lineman, deputy chief inspector. So thanks, Shapiro. I'm just looking at the things. I'm just what interesting for me to see what they're lining up with as an assistant versus the foreman, the manager. Understand the line.
I will say with the job duties of that position, they back up and then job rotate with every an admin staff. They do utility work, they do customer service work, they're gonna be doing banking and payroll and everything like that.
There's actually a deputy.
No. I wanted that to change that position 5 years ago to an admin assistant. That didn't fly, so. I'm not so concerned about, I just want to get the job description updated and good.
So this person is not doing the supervision, if I read that correctly.
No,
Okay.
it's just basically adding back and up. It's adding increased responsibilities and that kind of thing. So when I'm not here, they'll be the ones sitting in here in closed session. Doing probably over here. Nope, not that far.
All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-34, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nate.
And what name were you trying to give them? I'm sorry. What new job title?
Executive. Administrative assistant to me sounds like somebody who's just, typing up things that other people are partnering and not really doing the hard work. They'll be doing payroll, like I said, they'll be doing quarterly reports from me. They'll be running, doing back to tax budget. They're gonna be running the typical nature of the typical job. So that when I'm not here,
Right.
someone will know what he's.
Okay. I think that's a smart move. Do we need the title as well with that vote?
I think it was in it. It was included in it. If you
Okay.
guys didn't want to do that, we could.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I want to make sure it was.
That takes us to resolution 2025-35, Shelley.
Resolution 2025-35, a resolution of the city of Cameron, Missouri, accepting a declaration of deed restriction relating to improvements funded by the Bay Street Trail Project at the Sunrise Reservoir by a certain Missouri Department of Natural Resources Recreational Trails Grant 2021-06.
I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-35.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just another piece of the puzzle on getting it done with that trail project. This is the last item I am told that we need to do. And we have done this for every single trail project that you guys have done in the past. It basically says that, number one, we're gonna maintain that trail as a trail. And number two, you're gonna let DNR come out and inspect it whenever they want. And
I'll turn it into something else.
right. So those are the two things that whole thing deals with. If you vote on it and approve it tonight, then I will take it over and record it, and I will give DNR the last piece of paperwork to close that grant out. And it has been a struggle. So,
Like they say, there's never a free lunch. So the money that they gave us, we probably spent in time and effort, and definitely over the next 25 years, we'll spend way more on it.
it's got a pretty good base. It should last a long time. Now, whether somebody tears down the signs and that kind of stuff
Right.
is one thing we can't control, but the other part,
Yeah, but it takes away people to be out there.
okay.
That's all I'm saying, is labor costs on maintenance is huge. We're out there.
So the police department is just pretty low, the other part, the cracks, and got those all.
Haven't seen the street. I'd rather be out on the street.
You're saying, I think this is that,
Just
when
like,
it could be on.
Well, the idea is most of the department employees will be working that and maintain that. Unless they don't have the equipment, then,
well, sure, I'll get that part,
but that's,
It's a huge plus for the
it gets used a bunch.
It is a lot. People are extremely happy to have a big place to go out to work.
I got 2 emails over the weekend about, hey, when are you gonna finish that trail run? What you see is what you get. That's all you're gonna get.
We are finished.
The secretary for EPD, she loves our trails. It's on and on and on about
It's beautiful out there, you know, it's good for people's health, physical and mental. Those are the things that I have been told.
Yeah.
I'm not a trail walker, but it is enjoyable to go out there.
it. All right. All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-35, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to our second public participation today. Is there anybody that wants to get up and talk to us? You have 5 minutes. And you're welcome. All right, seeing that there are none, that'll take us to any comments from the staff.
No.
That's
Just, update on the airport runway project, the last counting, all the concrete stamping for work. And they're, created runway lights, happy lights. I still don't know what all mark my mental, but the happy lights are, there's something to do with the landing, I still don't know all that stuff.
There's lights over there.
Yeah.
How wide is it? It's 4,000 long,
4,000 long.
75 wide. You can't hit that, you shouldn't be flying.
And then, the street crews have been worked out that. Trying to keep up with that, so. Putting in driveways through. And all like that.
You don't have any new builds going in this year?
What?
Any, streets? I thought Godfrey and all them.
Harris, yeah, Harris Street will get started this year and finish on it. And hopefully we can get all the easement signed for, Godfrey Street together. That'll be one big project.
And you're getting ready to bid out the annual asphalt
Yeah.
overlay. The what? The annual asphalt overlay. Okay.
So the electric crews have been, kind of helping out with parks here lately, doing some tree trimming, getting some better access view for camera systems. We've got one family out there, so, we've been working on some trees for them. Setting up stuff, all the pedestals around the square for Fourth of July. Finish up our underground conversion project, south of town. We just started back on, full change out. Our guys, clean sewer main. We're down 2 employees right now, so, pretty tight, pretty things done. So, got, two guys, the superintendent, or right now. Kind of get stuff done.
All right. Joanne.
Thank you, Mayor and Council again. I've been working with Patrick and the rest of the staff on 2 CIDs that we're dealing with. We've had meetings on the US 36, Shelley always tells me that's the correct name, and not the Bob Griffin, CID, and the improvements out there that, there at McDonald's. We've had quite a few meetings on that in the last 3 weeks, so we're getting that moved forward. Also dealing with demolitions, lots of demolitions. And then we had a meeting with Senator Black, Representative Van Scoyac last week with MoDOT staff as well as Marlin West on the BB improvements. That whole rundown through there, the different options, showed it to the politicians on what we were looking at and the different options that could be available down the line. So most of that stuff is what I did. And then we've got another tip that we're looking at that Patrick's working on. So that and planning and zoning, if you're bored, next Monday, we've got 3 public hearings. So, if you're bored. That's all
Oh, Hawaii.
I got. Jamaica.
Jamaica.
When we finally got there, it was wonderful. They told us at 2:30 in the morning our flight was canceled. So we got there a day and a half late. So we made up for it.
We're working on budget, department heads are giving us their requests on paper, and we're going to be compiling all that here soon to get back with you in the next couple of weeks to get started.
I heard there's gonna be a budget adjustment.
And there'll be a budget adjustment for the current year.
This is common.
Yeah, then we put the horse flying activities, they all went off pretty well. 500 couple bikes came in for fans, a real large crowd, for park that was good to see. The next big event we have is National Night Out, August 5th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Also, out there, there's a lot of events planned, a lot of different talents to help us out. Any donations or funding from other Crime Stoppers fund. More, our 2-week remodel that we started in January was completed recently. And we just got the funding announcement from the Blue Shield grant that we applied for, and it's given out $1,000. Great news.
Very nice. That it? Gee.
Fire department's been really, had lots of calls. Good thing is, I have a really, really good staff. Well,
They're burn ban on now.
no.
So that-
It's basically no burn ban. There is no open burning inside the city limits at this time, with the exception of special permits. So anybody that wants to burn, we contact City Hall for a special permit, with, certain amount of days.
So if you want to burn some weeds in a ditch, get a permit.
First thing is you can't burn the ditch because that's inside the day.
Well, that takes the fun.
Second thing is if you want to burn at this point in time, you need to get a permit.
I think I'll just pass. Thanks, Mike.
I don't have anything just to remind you that we are hosting the chamber tomorrow, so.
All right, that'll take us to the council, comment.
I don't have much to say, but I think, we're doing really well with cleaning up the city and doing some amazing things. The staff is working really hard. Roads are getting fixed. I think the next step that I'd like to see is that we need to do some code enforcement with some of these houses, the dangerous and dilapidated buildings and the weeds. And, usually at the beginning of the year, you're going to have this period of time where people just don't mow the yards. Well, eventually it catches up to them. And either a neighbor or their family or somebody comes to mow the yard. So now we're beyond that. There's still a few yards out there that need to be mowed. And we just have a lot of houses that need to be torn down and need to be condemned. And I know we don't have a code enforcement officer to do that, go around and give tickets. But, at some point in time, we're just gonna have to figure out a way of doing that. So I'm open to suggestions, and I'd like to make Cameron beautiful again and buy a whole bunch more hats. So anyway, that's, any suggestions how we can get started on that? I don't want to wait till winter.
Well, Spencer's been having that question.
I talked to him about it, and he doesn't have help, so.
Right.
And he's got a lot on his plate.
We talked about it, and actually Carmen and Spencer and I talked about it today about what's in the budget for that.
Yep.
For the demolition of homes.
Yep.
That's a big one, however, with our conversation at that meeting today was about how we were going to deal with the EPA/DNR/OCAN grant loan
Yeah,
in comparison to how it flows in and out of that line.
yeah.
And so that's gonna be a big one.
I know he drove around and made a list of all of it, like a ledger pad long.
Yeah.
So there is work to be done. Oh, there is.
He's on it.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Well, I predicted the 4th of July would be the best one ever in its life. We have wonderful volunteers, especially with Main Street and the old school and Farmers Market, and we could go on, and we always need more volunteers, and they really put their heart in it and all the rest. Appreciate it. And the city staff.
Just a couple things. One, I noticed, I was kind of driving around, looking at the road, noticed you guys been out there patching, so thank you. I know it's been really hot, so I'm sure that patch is just going down just real nice right now, but, it just kind of blows out right on. But no, seriously, appreciate it. And I really would still like to get some little pictures out there as well, because I'd like to let people know, I am still getting good positive comments on it, but I'd like to let even more people know, because again, it is, not only is it beautifying, but it's also keeping cars from getting destroyed. And I know everybody appreciates that. I also wanted to say thanks to the police and fire for everything this weekend. I know you guys are always out there, but especially this weekend, taking care of folks while we're all celebrating our independence. Much appreciated to all of you. And then I just happened to be going through the park board minutes from May, and I noticed that David Hubby, who now owns his and hers, had brought up a question about Earl Park, that there potentially is some water running out of there. And the park board told me that it really wasn't their deal, that we should have found this out in the inspection. I just want to know, is there a way we can verify that it's not something in Earl Park that we're,
Ira and I've been there.
that's already been there? Okay,
We were there a month ago.
okay, well, I just happened to be, I just got this, so.
And it's a his. Water.
It was dry when we were there.
Okay,
But there is, since then, actually, all right, I'm sorry. So, yes, it is higher away from his building.
okay,
So what he was wanting was some type of drainage tile put in there to relieve any water coming down it. Since then, we've talked to many different groups about a possibility of different solutions. Ira he ran some numbers on making it concrete up there and sloping it away, and then maybe putting picnic tables or something. We ran through 4 different scenarios,
okay,
and he's got numbers on it, but then the pool happened,
right.
and so he's spending a lot of time in the
Oh,
pool.
yeah.
And so, well, and then all of the different people destroying our bathrooms and other sort of things. So that one's taking a back burner for now. But,
I just
yeah,
happened
we
to
looked at it.
notice it. I just happened to, when I was going through, it just kind of felt like they were saying too bad. And I just wanted to make sure that he was.
Davey got a hold of me first.
Okay, good.
And so then I took Ira and we both went up there.
Okay,
And, Linda, Francis' husband, met with us there as well.
okay,
So we had a long go. We were there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours,
good.
looking at
Well,
the whole thing.
I want our new business owners, anytime they come in, I want our existing business owners to feel comfortable too, but new business owners, we have to make sure we work. I appreciate you doing that. That is it for me, Mary.
Well, I'll again, thank everyone who helped participate in the 4th of July. It's always great. Cameron has a great 4th of July. And so many people do come to it. And, I appreciate that. And I appreciate all your efforts. We also, where is Ira? In vacation?
Yeah, he's out today.
Well, I kind of like to have an update on the pool. I didn't know we had a swim team was there.
Here's for me.
What? 2 of them. That's one more than last.
Yeah, normally it is this one, so they have 2. And what you talked about, when I go through town, I just cringe at the things that need to be taken care of as well. I usually start bugging Tim, but he's no longer here, but I used to start bugging him. Where are we at getting some help with Spencer? Where are we at with that? Do we have any applicants?
Not yet.
The inspector,
What is that pay, what does it start at?
It's been, second.
Yeah, it is here being it.
but yeah, okay, so I guess we need to get somebody to do that then. I also hear possibly that we're getting somebody to do this cemetery. You are, he was in my office today. His dad used to be our hard hand. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I have. So after that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So we're second.
Anything else that is going to work?
John Breckenridge. John Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Burgess.
Yes.
Yes.